All right, what's going on? I'm going to show you guys how to make my cream of rice bowl. So I eat this meal 2 times per day, one pre-workout, about an hour to an hour and a half before I work out. And then also it's my last meal of the day. You can call that dinner if you want. For me, it's just my meal 5. Um, I will do 90 grams before my workout, and I will usually do anywhere from 55 to 70 grams before bed. Just depends how my macros are going to be allocated towards the end of the day, but usually I keep it pretty consistent every single day. So the first thing we're going to do, I've got 90 grams of cream of rice already in there. What I like to do personally, okay, you can take any type of brand. I've got Elevate cream of rice box. Just you can get this on Amazon or sometimes Walmart too. Or you can do Rice and Grinds by Pride. All three I love. Okay, I do a mixture of all of them sometimes. I even have another one which uses rice flour instead of granulated rice, and that's Trained by JP's. Also really awesome. Different texture. I probably like Rice and Grinds better for texture purposes, but this is actually a really good flavor, and I would try different ones out when they do come available as well. So I like to save a little money. So what I will do is I rarely ever use a full serving of this, because if I use 90 grams of this or the Rice and Grinds, it can get kind of pricey. So I will always mix half of a box of cream of rice, which this is like, I forgot what it is, like maybe 30 bucks for 6 of these boxes. Super cheap. Mix just the unflavored cream of rice with this. You can do half and half or whatever ratio you want to do. And then you'll save some money, and also it tastes just as good. So this adds the flavor to this, which is just plain granulated rice. So we have the rice in there already. So now at this point, I have my 90 grams of rice. I also add cinnamon to it as well. And then I will take a container of salt. I use a kosher salt, and I also use a iodine salt because I don't get a lot of iodine in my normal diet. And I was drinking cranberry juice, not from concentrate. But I realized that it just becomes too pricey to buy that cranberry juice. It's like 10 to 11 bucks a bottle. And if I'm drinking 4 to 8 ounces a day, it goes really fast because they're small glass containers. And I just rather avoid, me spending more money on that when I can easily just allocate that towards, an iodine salt, which is not the best. I understand, like that is like a bleach salt, so it's not like the highest quality salt. But I do use a kosher salt that is really low in contaminants as my base salt. So this is like a mixture of both. I'll do a 1/4 teaspoon in there. You definitely want to add a little bit of salt, in my opinion. You don't have to, but one, I like to have a lot of salt or sodium in my diet. 2, if you ever have plain rice, it pretty much needs salt. So that's a no-brainer to me. So we have the 90 grams of rice in there. Now I'm going to add the water. You can do anywhere from 6 to 10 ounces of water, depending on the amount of cream of rice you're actually using. For me, since I had 90 grams, I'm going to use 10 ounces of water. And this just comes down to personal preference and microwave strength. So play around with the water content. I'd say start with more instead of less, because if you have not that much water, you're getting less water volume overall, which can be good depending on where you are, whether if you're in a prep or you're in off season or you're just a normal person, like that can have some effect on the texture, but also on the amount of water volume you're trying to have in your diet. So I have 10 ounces of water or 285 grams of water. Now I'm going to take that. I'm going to get a whisk, bada bing. And I'm going to whisk this together now. The reason I use a whisk, I learned this from Kuba, is it will help the cream of rice from becoming clumpy in the microwave. You'll know what I mean if you make cream of rice a lot. It can become quite clumpy because it is like a 4-step process once it's in the microwave. I microwave it, I take it out, I whisk it, microwave it, take it out, whisk it. And I do that like 3 or 4 times depending on how long it's going to take to actually cook. So what I'm going to do now is put this in the microwave for 1 minute to start. Maybe 1 minute. I'll do 130 on this actually because it is a higher volume of cream of rice. 1 minute 30. It's still going to be very watery. It's not going to really start to solidify yet. I'll stir it. I'll put it back in the microwave for another 30 seconds. So let me do that right now. All right, so while that's cooking, I'm now going to make my whey drip, whey pudding, whey paste, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to name it, doesn't really matter, but I'll show you exactly what it is. I'm going to grab my water, and I'm going to be doing 40 grams of dry whey isolate in here and 35 grams of water, okay? That to me is the perfect consistency for what I'm looking for. Okay, 43, let's drink a little bit. Glasses up. 34, good enough. So now that I have 34 grams of water in this bottle, I'm going to take a protein powder, which I'm going to be using Mutant peanut butter chocolate. It's cheap, tastes really good, really clean. Not sponsored by them or anything like that. I don't have any sponsorships. You know, I'm not an affiliate with any company. These are just the products I use. So I've got 34 sitting on there. I'm not even going to zero it out. I'm just going to add 40 grams to it. So I'm looking for 74 on my scale. There's 70. And there's 74. Okay. Add that. I'm going to mix this together now. I like a nice large spoon. It's also a smaller head spoon, so it allows me to eat my food a little slower, which will help it digest better. So I'm going to mix this together, and I'll show you what the consistency is going to be like. If you've seen my stories as well, then you'll know the consistency is a little watery, which is really good. Keep mixing it. At first it'll be kind of like thick, but it loosens up pretty quickly. And this will also be dependent on the protein powder you decide to use or the brand, concentrate or a blend or an isolate, right? They're all gonna mix differently, so you'll have to play around with the water content yourself, but I have found for an isolate, for most brands that I have in my pantry, a like 25 water to 30 grams of powder works really good, or a 35 to 40 grams of powder, 45 grams of water to 50 grams of powder, right? So subtract 5 grams from whatever you're gonna be using in powder form and use that in water, and then just mix it together. And then you'll see you're gonna get this consistency right there. Kind of looks like a mixture of like diarrhea and a nice solid stool, right? So depending on what you had the day prior, this could be what your poop looks like the next day. That's the consistency you want, okay? So we have that. I'm gonna take this cream of rice out of the microwave, stir it for you, put it right back in the microwave. Okay, so still really watery. It's exactly what I expected it to be. Just gonna give a little stir here. Okay, put that back down. Put this in the microwave now for 30 seconds. I'm gonna take out my fruit. I'm going to put some of this stuff away. Why? Because I'm not a messy person. And I lead by example. If I tell my kids to clean up after themselves, I better do the same thing. So I also use frozen fruits. Frozen blueberries, wild blueberries. These are really tiny. I find them to be a lot sweeter. I like to use those. And then for the strawberries, these are whole frozen strawberries. I would prefer these to be sliced frozen strawberries, but the Walmarts by my house are not carrying those right now, which is really unfortunate, but these will do. I do 100 grams of each of these frozen berries in my cream of rice. Berries are really low in calories for number one. They also offer you fiber. So I'm getting a good balance of fiber, not that many carbs from the fruit, but I'm getting plenty of carbs from the cream of rice, okay? So it's like a good allocation of how I'm using my carbs in that specific meal for that day. Taking the cream of rice out now. It's been 30 seconds, been 2 minutes total so far. Starting to get a little thicker, not that thick. Okay, just gonna stir it. And right back in the microwave for another 30 seconds. I'll be putting 50 grams of total whey into this cream of rice. So I've got 40 grams here. I'll put 10 grams inside of the cream of rice. So this is chocolate peanut butter or peanut butter chocolate. This is just triple chocolate, okay? Again, doesn't matter the brand, pick the flavors you like, and most likely that's going to also flavor your cream of rice really well, okay? So don't pick flavors or anything like that, like based on what I'm doing, pick the flavors you like, excuse me. I prefer chocolate peanut butter in my cream of rice. regardless of what flavor cream of rice I have. And I do have 2 blueberry muffins in there from different brands. I've got a cookie butter, a chocolate cake, a apple pie, vanilla, coconut cream pie. So I have a ton of flavors in there. I have 4 different flavors coming today as well from Rice and Grind. So I just like doing different combinations with the cream of rice. And then I will always use pretty much the same flavored protein powder with the cream of rice. Okay, so now it is going to be a little thicker. We've done 2 minutes and 30 seconds so far. I'm going to stir this really slowly because it can easily go over the bowl because there's a good amount of water still. So you're mixing a thick substance with water and that can easily spill and make a mess. So just kind of go slow. You want to get the clumps removed before you put it back in the microwave. Once it starts getting a little clumpy, a little thicker, you can probably do an extra minute straight instead of splitting it up another 30 seconds by 30 seconds. So it's like, okay, I can put it in for 1 minute right now, take it out, and it's probably going to be done. Or I can do 30 seconds, stir it, 30 seconds, stir it, or 20 seconds and stir it again, right? I'm just looking for that consistency that I want in my cream of rice, which is a thicker consistency. I want to make sure it's fully cooked because if you've ever had like, you know, just cold rice, like plain rice, it's kind of gross, it gets kind of hard. Well, granulated rice is the same thing. You want it to be fully cooked, in my opinion, so that there's still texture in there, but it's not like you're chewing little rocks, okay? So it's still a little watery, but it is getting thicker. 30 seconds in the microwave. We'll stir it again. It's probably gonna need 2 cycles of that, then it'll be done. So we got our berries now. I've got a dark chocolate, okay? This is a company called Hu, really good. It is a 70% cacao, okay? So it's not just cocoa, it's cacao, however you want to say that. I have no idea, but I always say cacao. They make a bunch of different flavors, so I'll rotate between like a cashew butter, a salty chocolate, dark chocolate, of course, it's all dark chocolate, and then just a plain normal chocolate, which is not a salty version. And I'll do 1 square, which is 7 grams. Okay, so let's see, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there's still some water on top, so I'm gonna stir that. It's looking really good right now though. I'll probably do 30 more seconds with this. Then it's gonna be perfect consistency. Okay. Tap it in, okay? Go slow with the whisk here because you wanna get the clumps and the cream of rice off the whisk, but if you go too fast, it flings everywhere and it gets really messy. You don't want that. Back in the microwave for 30 seconds. Then it'll probably be done with our microwave stage. Okay, so as you can see, this is a little bit of a process. It does take a little bit of time, but to me, the reward is so sweet. I love it. This is my favorite meal of the day. I have it twice a day. And for me to say it's my favorite meal is even crazier because I personally love ground beef, rice, peppers, green beans. That's also my favorite meal. So it's really hard, but this is why I tell you guys, like, I thoroughly enjoy all my meals. I don't need to switch it up. I don't need cheat meals all the time. Like, even though like this is my off season or growth season, I focus on the meals I just thoroughly enjoy, and they happen to be like the most nutritious meals that I can possibly make. Okay, so here we go. There's the final product for the microwave consistency I'm looking for. Now, what are we gonna do? We're going to zero out our scale, or in this case, just turn it back on. We're going to put 10 grams in here. Okay, 8. There's 9. And doesn't want to give me 10. There's 11. I hate when it does that. It goes from 9 to 11. And I'm putting more in, but the 9's not moving to 10, but then it goes right to 11. Super annoying. Normally, I'd take that extra 1 gram out. I don't care today. I'm going to grab the honey from inside of my pantry here. Or not pantry, but cabinets. Sorry, I had to move the camera there. Oh, getting a little stabilization. So I use a organic glyphosate-free honey. You can get on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. I just bought 3 bottles. I forgot what the cost was, but it wasn't that expensive. And I always try to save a little bit of money wherever I can, because what I do is pretty expensive, okay? You talk about the natural health supplements. You talk about all the extracurricular supplements, okay? I'm not gonna name those, but you can take a guess what those are. And then you also just talk about the food. Okay, we spend a lot of food on groceries between me, my wife, my kids. We all eat really healthy for the most part, and that costs money. Okay, so if I can save some money while also buying high quality ingredients, I'm going to do it. Okay, but as you can see, like everything I do is really, it's high quality food. I believe you are what you eat, so I want to put quality foods into my body so I can have a quality made physique. 10 grams of honey. You know what? We're going to do 15 grams because we're on camera and I like honey. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to take that. We're going to take the spoon that's been sitting in my whey drip over here. Okay, you can call it the whey diarrhea if you want. And we're going to mix this up now. And this will actually make this cream of rice a little creamy as well. Okay, looking good so far. Now you can put your dark chocolate inside of here and it'll melt within all the cream of rice. Or what you can do is you can just break up the dark chocolate and put it on top, which is what I normally do. Okay, so there's the cream of rice. You can see that, pretty good consistency there. We're gonna zero this scale out. I'm super stuffy, by the way, and really congested. 100 grams of berries. Okay. 103, sue me. I'm gonna do 100 grams of strawberries. I'm actually gonna grab the ones I want though, because I don't want super big ones. Those just kind of get a little annoying to eat. Because I've already explained, I like the sliced strawberries, but I can't get those right now. So we're gonna hand select these and leave the big ones to my son who blends his up in a shake in the morning. So I don't think size really matters for him. But we all know that size really does matter, people. Okay, berries done in there. Put this away. Okay, berries away. Mix. Take your time because it can easily spill over all over your counters. I'm telling you this from experience, so you get to learn from my mistakes so that you can make a perfect bowl of cream of rice every single time. Okay, so now that we have this in here, I am going to put the whey drip all over the top. Now you don't have to use frozen berries. I just choose to use frozen berries because I like frozen berries. I like my cream of rice to be room temperature or cold. You can also have it warm, no big deal, but I also love frozen fruit over fresh fruit. I think it tastes better and I think it's sweeter. So that makes my cream of rice cold. Could I warm up the berries prior to putting them in the cream of rice? Of course I can. So if that's you and you like frozen fruit, but you want a warm cream of rice, microwave the frozen fruit first so it becomes warm or room temperature, not frozen anymore, and then add that to your cream of rice. Then you'll have a warm cream of rice, okay? So it's amazing. It's the best thing I've ever made right now. Best one ever. You guys are getting the best one ever on camera. So we're gonna dump this whey drip right on top. You're gonna love this part. Oh my gosh. It's a thing of beauty every single time I make it, guys. Like, if you like cream of rice or if you've never had cream of rice and you follow these steps exactly as I just did them, you're gonna be in for a real treat. It doesn't even feel like I am eating something I should be eating, right? It feels like I went out to eat and I got the highest calorie dessert on the menu. I'm not one to bullshit anybody, but this is phenomenal. I'm not going to go completely crazy trying to get all this extra whey isolate off of this glass. But I try to do my part and make the world a little better place, okay? So that's now in the sink. We've got the whey drip on top. We've got this dark chocolate. Okay, I'm going to attempt to break it up. It's not going to be broken up like that. So we'll break it up over here. Bear with me. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. The way I break up chocolate is I put it in my mouth like a bird chewing up food for their babies. And I just spit it out in the bowl. And I'm not even kidding. And that's what I just did, but I'm not going to show that on camera because it's rated X, okay? I don't want your kids seeing that, and maybe it could be too vulgar for some. So now we have our completed cream rice bowl. We've got the whey drip on top. We've got the chocolate on top, and that is the exact way I make it. The only other change I ever make to this is sometimes I add almond butter, but because this is pre-workout, I just want less fats. Not that much fats before my workouts, but I will put 16 grams of almond butter on my cream rice bowl after, well, not after, but as my last meal in that meal 5 or dinner. So follow those steps, watch this video over and over and over, make it part of your favorite playlist, and watch it every day. And just feel honored that I've shown you something that's going to change your life. Have a good day.